Hey friends, welcome back to my channel, Just a Little Homestead. My name is Wilma. Today we are going to be harvesting the green stalks for all the jalapenos and making cowboy candy. And I'm going to be canning them. So this is my very first attempt at canning anything ever. So this is going to be a very fun adventure. Hopefully you'll stick around and watch. If you have any jalapenos at home and want to can along with me, go ahead and start getting your stuff ready so we can do this together. I'll give you a list of all the ingredients that I have. It's mainly vinegar, a lot of sugar, jalapenos, and there's a couple spices that are optional if you want to put that in or not. But from what I've been seeing, you mainly just need the vinegar, sugar, jalapenos, a little bit of salt, and that's about it. And of course, all of your canning supplies. So let's go ahead and get started. It's early Saturday morning. I already got up early, watered everything, so everybody has water. And now we're gonna start harvesting. So let's get ready. Okay, so we're gonna start with the green stalks, and then I'll get to the beds because I know I have jalapenos over there I need to harvest as well. I was debating on separating all the full dew peppers and the nata peno peppers because those are heatless. But I'm going to mix them all together so we have some that are hot and some that are not in the cowboy candy just to make it less intense than it's probably going to be if I just stick a whole lot of hot peppers in there. So I think I'm just going to harvest them all together since I'm mixing them up anyways. And I'm hoping that I will have 3 pounds at least. I have some in the house already that I harvested, but it's like a pound. It's not even a lot. I don't think I'm adding anything like this. These are the chocolate cherry. I don't think that's what I'm supposed to put in there. So I might put like banana peppers because I think I have a couple of those. Might put those in there, which will probably give it a little bit of color because I don't think I have any red jalapenos. So they're mainly going to be green. But if I add some of the bell peppers or the banana peppers, that should give it some more color. So let me start with these here. These are the cinder jalapenos from Haas. So I'm going to start grabbing these. I have 3 on here. And then down here, these are the nata penos. 3 of these as well. I'm really hoping I'm going to end up with a big harvest right now. I don't think I'm going to be able to do this while I'm holding the phone, unfortunately. I don't have a big stand so that y'all can watch. So let me see if I can figure this out. Look at these. What are these? These are pretty. Some of these vines are getting very close together. This one just went underneath this one. This is a colossus. But this one, where did you come from? Let me see here. Oh, that's this one on the top. This is candy cane red. This one's mixed in with this vine that's over here. Some of these are getting so tall. Look at this one. This is a colossus. Look at this vine. Goes all the way up to here. So it's taking up like 2 whole levels. It's very big. Maybe I should have stuck those on top. Well, I'm learning for next year. Look, this is another very tall one. This branch goes from here all the way down to here. And that's a poblano. All right, let me start harvesting. Okay, so I figured it out. I recruited some help to help me hold the camera while I get this done. So these are the full dew, but I am going to be putting all of these together. Jalapenos. Oh, there's a baby one right there. Let me not cut that one. Look at, there's one baby growing. These are big. What is this? Colossus jalapeno from Haas. That's what these are. Look at these little monsters. These are huge compared to the little jalapenos that are in there. Another Colossus. Oh, that was cut very easily. Okay, I'm not doing any of these candy cane ones. I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one so that I can move this out of the way because this is attached somehow to this. Let me move this out without breaking it. Come on. There we go. Okay, down here. I want to make sure that I'm cutting the right ones. Big Jim. Are Big Jim regular jalapenos? They are, right? I'm not sure. I don't know if I should cut that one, if that's ready or not. Okay, so I can use these while they're green. They just get more hot when they're red. So we'll just use the medium heat. Okay, these are mucho nacho peppers. Good size pepper. Jalapenos. The other jalapenos that I cut a little while ago were from seeds and such, and these are from My Gardener. So they're about the same. Same seeds, different company. What do I have down here? Flaming Flare. These are good size. Oh, just missed you. Some of these I can't see because they're green amongst the green leaves. These are tiny. Oh, where'd you come from? Megatron. This is from Haas also. See, I didn't even see this one, Mucho Nacho, when I was cutting the other ones. That's the last of them from the green stalk. It's a pretty good harvest. Now I'm gonna go tackle the beds. This is the total harvest from today out in the green stalks. And then I have, these were bad, I had to cut them. Something got into that one and that, I don't know what that was. And this is some more jalapenos that I got 2 days ago, and the regular jalapenos that I got 2 days ago also, with some habaneros and I think Anaheim. Not sure what this was. I don't know if I'm gonna use that. So let's weigh everything and see what we got. I'm gonna mix it all together. 3 pounds. First batch. Now I gotta add the rest of it in there. Okay, so the second batch is 137. I did throw in the couple of serranos that I had, the banana pepper, and I'm not sure what this is, but I threw that in there. Now what I do want to do, I might regret it, is add this in there. There's not that many, so hopefully it won't be too bad. I don't think it's going to add too much weight. 1.46. It'll give it a splash of color. I do have these also. I only have 2. I don't know if I'm going to add that. I don't think they weigh anything. Let me see if I add it. It added 0.1. So if I add it, it's not really going to do anything, but we'll see. All right, let me get the recipe so I can see exactly how much vinegar and sugar I'm going to need for this and for that. Okay, since my dishwasher has decided to act up, I boiled all of these to get them sterilized. Now I am taking them out. And I'm gonna let them dry, not really cool off too much, but because they are very hot. I've had them sitting in here, oh sorry, I don't know why I always do that. I've had them sitting in here for at least 15 minutes now after I stopped the water from boiling. I turned the heat off and now I'm getting them out. What, fat boy? Why are you fussing? What, fatty? All right, they're all out. Now I'm gonna start heating up the water and starting, what do I need to do? Oh, I need to cut, I need to cut the jalapenos. I guess I can't do anything without that. Let me get started on that. So this is the recipe that I'm using. I got this from Jess, from her page, The Farmer's Table, or she has the other channel. I want to say it's Roots and Refuge. Yeah, Roots and Refuge Farm. I think it's her other channel. And then this is from The Farmer's Table. So she did cowboy candy on there. I actually found 3 different recipes because I watched hers. I watched that 18, I think it's 1870 Homestead. I saw hers and I got their recipe. And then I got the recipe from Becky with Acre Homestead. So I had all 3 of those, but Jess had one that I could print out. So I printed hers out. They're basically all the same exact thing. You need, this one is for 4 pounds, which worked out perfect because I have a little over 4 pounds, almost 4.5 pounds with all of this. That's with the habaneros, serranos, everything included in there. So it was a little bit over 4 pounds, 4.44 actually. So I'm gonna put just a little bit more of the vinegar and the sugar because I have over 4 pounds, but this recipe is for 4 pounds. And I will link this also in the description for her page so you can see this recipe if you want to print it out as well, because she left a PDF file for it, which was perfect. And so for the 4 pounds, you need 3 cups of vinegar, either apple cider vinegar or white vinegar. as long as it has the 5% acidity. I got the apple cider vinegar, so we're going to use that. 4 cups of sugar. I'm going to use 4.5, and I'm going to use 3.5 cups of vinegar because I have a little bit over 4. And then it's the salt, turmeric, garlic powder, chili powder, mustard seeds, chopped garlic, which I need to chop that, and then of course the sliced jalapenos. Everything here is optional. You don't have to put all that in here if you want. The main stuff is vinegar, sugar, sliced jalapenos. You can make this cowboy candy with just those 3 ingredients. But if you want to add some flavor, you can, put this stuff here. What I got in place of the mustard seeds, because on that 1870 Homestead, she used celery seeds. I bought that last night. I don't have mustard seeds, so I'm going to use the celery seeds in place of mustard seeds. But again, I mean, you can use what you want as far as these other ingredients. As long as you have the vinegar, sugar, jalapenos, you're good to go. And in directions, I've already boiled and sterilized my jars and the lids, so that's ready to go. And now I am going to start chopping up the jalapenos and then getting all the ingredients together and start to boil that so we can make the syrup. So let's start with the chopping. All right, so now we are cutting the jalapenos. The gloves are optional, but I highly recommend that you wear gloves because if you accidentally touch your face or your eye, you are going to regret it badly. And with all the jalapenos that you will be cutting, especially if you're trying to get to 4 pounds, you are bound to touch your face in one aspect or another. So please wear gloves. We're going to get all these done, and then I will show you when we start the syrup. So we got all the jalapenos chopped up, a little splash of color with the habaneros. I bought vinegar last night. I got apple cider vinegar, and then I got this specifically for canning, but I'm going to use the apple cider vinegar. I've already separated here, 3.5 cups. I think this is 4 cups. I lost track when I was putting it in here, so I'm going to put this in 1 cup at a time to be sure I got the right amount. And of course we have that ready. And this is where we are going to make the syrup. Let me start adding everything in. So first is vinegar, 3.5 cups. It calls for 3 for 4 pounds, but I'm putting 3.5 because I have almost 4.5 pounds of jalapenos. Let me add the sugar. I'm going to have to do 1 cup at a time because I lost track of how many cups I put in that bowl. So let me do that really quickly. Okay, so it was 4 cups that I had in there. I just had to add the other half. So 4.5 cups of white sugar, just plain white sugar. And I have 3.5 cups here of apple cider vinegar. Let me turn this on. It says to put it on medium and let it start dissolving the sugar. And now if you want to add any of the other ingredients, now is the time to do that. I'm going to start chopping up the garlic while this warms up and getting the other little seasonings together. Okay, so this was already boiling and it looks just very watery, not thick like I saw it on that 1870 Homestead video that I watched. So I'm going to change it up a bit and go off of what they did on the 1870. So I wrote down here, and I'll take a screenshot also. So for 3 pounds of jalapenos, her recipe called for 2 cups of the apple cider vinegar. I've already put 3.5 cups. So I figure since I have 4 pounds, 4.5 pounds basically of the jalapenos, that's basically 1 cup for every 1.5 pounds of jalapenos. So since I have 4.5, that's going to be 3 cups of apple cider vinegar. I already put 3.5 cups, so I'm going to leave that alone. The sugar is where we're going to change things up a bit. On her video, she put 6 cups for the 3 pounds. So basically 3 cups of sugar for every 1.5 pounds of jalapenos. So times that by 3, because I have 4.5 cups. So I'm going to put 9 cups of sugar because I want it a lot thicker than that. And I've already added 4.5 cups. So I need to add 4 more, 4.5 more to make the 9. So I'm going to start adding that right now so I can thicken this up, because that's just very runny, watery. And I want it thick the way she had it in hers. It looked so good when she was mixing that up and it was so thick. So let me go ahead and add 4.5 more cups of sugar. And then I'll start adding the seasoning. She put turmeric, the celery seed, that's where I got that from her recipe. Garlic powder, but instead of the garlic powder, I already have here this that I'm chopping up, so I'm going to throw that in there instead of the garlic powder. And then 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. So let's get that done. I'll be right back. Now that's more like it. And this is only 9 cups. I don't feel bad. In her video, she put 30 cups of sugar, but it looked so good. So I'm not going to complain at all. It is 9 cups, but we're only eating a little bit at a time, so we're good. So now this should really thicken this up. So this is going to be perfect. I'll still add both recipes that I saw in the description, so you can choose which one you want to use or just mix them together. Do a little bit of each one in yours. It's up to you. As I said, I mean, all you need is vinegar, sugar, jalapenos, and that's your recipe right there. Everything else is optional. But I do want a lot of sugar. This is supposed to be a sweet heat that you are getting. So we need the sugar. This looks so much better. So I'm going to let this warm up again and finish chopping up my garlic and throw that in there. I'll be back. Okay, so for this new recipe, it's half a teaspoon. Let me not do half a cup. Half a teaspoon of turmeric, which I already have here. Half a teaspoon of celery seed. And 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. The 3 teaspoons of garlic powder I'm not doing because I chopped that up. So I'm going to use that instead. But this is what I used. Let me add it to the pot. Okay, so the other recipe called for 2 teaspoons of salt. The second recipe I'm doing didn't call for salt, but I'm going to put salt in here. So I'm going to be using some pink salt. This is kind of like pink Himalayan almost. I'll put a link below for this salt. I think it's called real salt. Let me show you. So this is the salt. It's called real salt. It is an online site. It's from Utah, but I'll put the link at the bottom. That way y'all can see. Look how pretty it is. Look at that beautiful salt. It tastes really good too. Okay, so it is all boiling now, so I'm going to add in the jalapenos. It looks really good. I don't know what it smells like because I can't smell anything. I think I've told y'all before that I haven't been able to smell anything since 2019 because of some polyps that I had in my nose. And then when I had the polyps removed, I never got my smell back. So I don't know what it smells like. I'm really hoping that it smells good for everybody who's walking around in the kitchen right now. No one's complained about it yet, so hopefully it does smell good. Let me add in the jalapenos now. Okay, now it's time to add in the jalapenos. This is the 4.5 pounds. I'm gonna do it in slowly so that it doesn't splash and burn. Once I get a lot in, I can start just pouring it in here. Now it's gonna look like a lot, but it's supposed to shrivel up and condense, so everything will end up fitting in here. I should have just put a glove on so I can pour this in with my hand because this is going to take forever. Give me a minute. Okay, so this will be much easier than trying to use that little wooden spoon. And once I get all of this in here, I can stir it until it comes to a boil. I don't remember how many minutes I need to leave this in here, but I'll check it in a minute. This is perfect for this pot. Looks like it's just going to fit. Look at how pretty. Just enough. Okay, so now I have to bring this to a boil. And once it's boiling, you reduce the heat and let it continue to stay hot and simmer for 15 minutes. Look, you can see the colors changing already. The ones from the bottom compared to the ones that have not gone down yet. So the bottom is working its magic already. Look at those changing color. All right, let's let this boil. So it's almost ready to drop the temperature down. It needs to be at a rolling boil. A rolling, I don't know what I just said. A rolling boil. One to where whenever you stir it, the little bubbles don't go away. So it's almost there. So if you are following along, doing this at the same time, make sure that you have your little canning jars ready. I have the lids and everything washed, sterilized from earlier. And then I have these over here now. I'm going to end up putting my pot here, my little Dutch oven pot right there, so that I can just grab the jalapenos a lot easier and pour it in here. We have this little thing. that works with it. Because what we're doing at first is just the jalapenos. We're only moving the jalapenos in. Oh, my fat boy. We're just going to get the jalapenos with as little sauce or juice as possible in there. And then we're going to pour in the juice after. Almost ready to simmer. I bet you it smells really strong in here. I remember jalapenos did have a very strong smell whenever I would boil them for to make salsa. You could smell the jalapenos in the house. And this is 4.5 pounds of jalapenos, some serranos, some habaneros, and vinegar. So I'm sure there is a very strong smell in here, but I just can't smell it. Guess it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. Okay, we are now at a full rolling boil where whenever I stir it, the bubbles just keep coming. So now we're going to lower the heat and let it simmer for 4 minutes. Now, since I'm putting both recipes in, you're going to see one recipe says 4 minutes, the other one says 15 minutes. So it's up to you what you want to do. I was going to do like 7 or 8 minutes just to be right in the half mark, but we'll see. Let me go ahead and lower it down now. So now it's on low. I'm going to go ahead and do 7 minutes. Okay, it's been 7 minutes. So I just turned off the heat. I'm about to move this over so I can put it right next to my jars. Okay, so now we're going to start putting this, just the jalapenos with as little juice as possible. We're going to do the juice last. So I have a spoon with the holes in it. Look at how nice this looks. It really condensed down. I have to be very careful with these little things right here on the spoon so it doesn't knock over my stuff. And what I'm going to try to do is fill it up to that first line. That way I have the empty space that you need for the canning process. I don't know how many of these are half pints. I don't know how many I'm going to be able to fill up. So that was about 2 spoonfuls and barely any juice. Okay, now I can't smell it, but I can feel it in my eyes and in my throat. So this has to be very strong. My daughter came in a while ago and said that it smelled really good. So I'm glad that it smells good. Whatever I have left, I'm probably just going to stick in a different jar and put that straight into the refrigerator. That one we'll just use right away instead of canning that one. Because when I had all these sterilizing earlier, these fit perfectly in my pot. I don't have a canning pot, like an actual canning pot. I'm using my big pot that you make tamales in. And it has a little level, like a quarter of the way down, so that the tamales don't touch the bottom. So that worked out perfect because you're not supposed to have the cans directly on the bottom touching the fire or the heat element because the little jars can break. So if I didn't have that tamale pot, I was going to have to get a towel or something to put underneath, a little rag, so that the jars are not directly on the heat. But that worked out perfect. And it's a very large tamale pot. Oh, okay, I thought I was going to go through all of these little half pints, but I'm already running out of jalapenos. I guess I might not need another one. See, I have 2 left. I don't think I'm going to get 2 out of here. I don't think this one's going to get filled up all the way. I guess this one, since it'll be a half, one that's only half full, this one we'll use this one right away. You're supposed to let them sit after you water bath them. Let them sit out for a week or 2. Depends on what recipe you're following. It says the longer the better. I think 2 weeks would be my limit because I'm sure this is going to taste delicious and I'm not going to want to wait more than 2 weeks. Yeah, we're not getting a full pot, full jar out of this one. All right. So we have 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, basically 10 that are full. One of them that's half. And then we have our empty one, which I'm going to use for juice. I might have to go get another jar so I can stick whatever juice is left in there. All right, let me find out what I need to do with this juice. I don't remember if I need to reheat it or just start pouring in. Okay, so 10 and a half. And what I'm gonna do now, I didn't need to heat this back up since it's already really hot. what I'm going to do is just start pouring. And my little half one, I'm just going to put it half because it's only half. So I'm only going to fill it up halfway with juice. And I'm about to start making a big old mess on myself. Look at that. I still need this. So this one will just go in the fridge. We can use this tonight and taste it because we've never tasted Cowboy candy. So now we're going to know what it tastes like. And I only want the juice up to that lime. Sort of like this. So to that bottom or that very first line there. That's where we're going to put that. All right, so now I'm going to make sure there's no air bubbles. And then fill up some more if I need to put some more. Let me grab a knife. Okay, so I just got a butter knife. And I'm just going to dig down to the bottom. Make sure there's no air bubbles. I can probably put a little bit more juice in these. So it looks like the juice went down now that I'm messing with it. Did it go down a bit? Okay, so now I'm just adding a little bit more juice because after I pressed them all down, the liquid went down too. I guess there was little air bubbles in there. And then we're gonna have a lot of juice left over. So I'm gonna stick those in some canning jars and put that in my fridge so I can use it. All right, so now I am going to clean the tops of these with some vinegar. Let me grab that. I'm going to use the white vinegar that I bought for canning, and I'm going to use that to clear the lids to clean this, not the lids, to clean the rims before I put the lids on. Okay, so this is what I'm using to clean. It's just regular white vinegar. This one is Mrs. Wages pickling and canning vinegar. So I just have it on my little Scott napkin. And I'm just going to clean around the rims. Just so there's no issue with the seal. In case I got any of that juice or syrup on here, it'll be nice and clean. And then we can start putting our tops. And when you're tightening, it's just finger tight, from what I read. All right, I'm not going to water bath this one, but I'm still going to clean the lid on mine, even though that's going to go in the fridge. All right, let me grab the lids. And these are all sterilized and clean because I boiled them. And these are going to go on just finger tight. Okay, so I have all the lids on. I'm not going to put this one in. That one's going in my fridge. And all of these are supposed to be finger tight. I think I probably did it a little bit more, but I'm going to put all of these now into my pot. Okay, so this is the tamale pot that I was telling you about. And right here at this little rim, you'll see the little thing that sits in there. So the jars are not touching the bottom. And they all fit in here. So I think I need to leave them in here for 15 minutes. Once it comes to a boil. It wasn't boiling hot. It was hot, but not boiling hot. So I just stuck them in there. So now I'm going to wait 15 minutes and then take them out. Okay, so I was able to get 2 pints and 1/2 a pint of the syrup from the Cowboy candy that was left over. And then there's my little half of a half pint that I did not water bath. These are still here. I'm waiting for it to boil because I'm supposed to wait until the water starts boiling before I start the timer. And I almost missed that step because I was about to start timing it early. So once it starts boiling, then I'm going to start. It's 10 minutes for half pints, which is what I have. So 10 minutes is what I'm going to set the timer for whenever it starts boiling. If you're using pints, it's 15 minutes. All right, it's been 10 minutes. So I just took the top back off and I turned the fire off. So now I'm going to let them cool down a bit before I pull them out. They look good. Everything still looks sealed. I don't see any juices. Nothing has popped. I mean, knock on wood. But so far, everything looks great for my first time canning. Okay, so the fire has been off, and this has been cooling down for at least 20 minutes. I don't think you need to leave it in there 20 minutes. Some of the videos that I see, they leave it in there for like 5 and then pull it out. So I'm gonna go ahead and start taking them out now. And then we're gonna put it on a towel. You don't want to just stick it directly on your countertop, especially if you have like a cold countertop like granite or something, because the temperature change or the going from hot to something really cold could make the jar break or could possibly damage your countertop, depending on what type of countertop you have. Let me get these out. They are all out. Still hot. Not as hot. Look at that. How nice. My very first canning project. So excited. So we have 10, 1/2 one that's going to go into my fridge. I'm about to eat some of that tonight when everybody gets here. And then we have 2 pints, 1/2 pint of the sauce. We're all done. This is so cool. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today with my very first adventure on canning. It was very exciting. We did so much. We did so much today. We harvested. I got up super early, got everything watered, took out all the jalapenos from the beds. It's just, we just got so much done. It's just such a very fun-filled day today. And the canning is my favorite part. I can't wait to try the cowboy candy. If you were doing this with me today, I really hope that yours turns out fabulous as well. If you're new here, please consider subscribing. It would mean a lot to me. We're going to do so many more canning things this summer. Once I start getting more tomatoes and everything, I'm going to be canning a lot of tomatoes. And maybe some more cowboy candy if it turned out as well as I think it did. Then we're going to be doing that, a lot of that during the summer. So please stick around. Please like and subscribe. And I will see you on the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye, everybody.